forgot to mention too that our guys, man, they took champs in a softball, softball tournament. Aaron and Junior, who was back-to-back champs from last year. And I tell you what, these guys was, God is working and is doing something in our church and among us men that when we was there, but by the time we left, I think maybe half the camp knew who New Hope was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of these guys trying to be out there like, oh, hi. No, it's just the God that was in them that was coming out from them.
Yeah.
And what it was being impacted to the camp, and it was unbelievable. These guys was the picture you saw about, it was just us starting our little worship. And Austin being our worship director, he was just leading worship, and before you know it, that house, it was a big circle, it was a full-blown circle with men grabbing their instruments from other churches, and it was unbelievable. So, man, awesome, guys. We're looking forward to next year, and if you out there, and if you're wondering what happened, and you know what, come on, join us, come on board,
Amen.
So at this time, we're just going to have some of the guys share their testimonies and their encounter, what they got from the camp and what impacted their lives. So, Nick.
My name is Nick. So going into this camp, I really was expecting to get some prayers answered. So Saturday during lunch, I was skipping lunch, and then I went walking around the camp just to pray and see if I can get some prayers answered. And like halfway through, I felt God tell me just be quiet and listen. And I was like, all right. So Saturday night, I was just gonna be listening the whole time. And all throughout service, I was like, okay, God, when are you gonna answer? What about my prayers, Lord? And towards the end, that's when Dr. Robert started talking about strongholds. And that's when it really hit me. I've been struggling with a stronghold almost all my life, being short. And maybe when I was sophomore in high school, I really told myself, you know what, push it aside. Maybe when time comes, everything would be gone.
Right.
But it's not like that.
Right.
You're just gonna pull it up again. So towards the end, when he was talking about David Goliath, and then he was talking about his dog, overcoming this pit bull that the dog did, and this phrase that he said, it's not about the height, it's about your heart, and that's what really hit me. And that's what really got me. Like, I used to be a people pleaser. I used to care what people think about me. And every time somebody brought down me from my height, it would bring me down even more.
Right.
And I would struggle with it. But, that's all gone now. I really don't care if I'm short.
Yes, all right, Nick.
That's what I got. Thank you.
A bit nervous. Guess you can hear my heart beating.
Yeah.
I was going to share a little testimony, but I started thinking about it. When I was out there in the world, I was looking for the best sack, the best dope. So I decided to give God my best testimony. And
Amen.
I'm about to share. I never shared it with anybody but my wife. My parents don't know. My sisters and brothers don't know. And I invited them here today to hear it.
All right.
At a young age, I was molested by an uncle that would babysit us. And this is the first time anyone has heard about it except my wife. As I started to get older, I felt like I was to blame. On the inside, I felt like no one could protect me. I always felt like I had to do what I had to do to protect myself. That's how the isolation in my life started, and also the anger. A lot of anger, and it started to show in my behavior at home and in school. My parents would be confused and ask me why I'm doing the things I'm doing, because they wouldn't understand it. They tried to figure out what was wrong with me, but it was a secret that I made sure no one would ever find out. So I remember them taking me to a psychiatrist that would tell them nothing's wrong with me. And I remember my mom telling them, something's wrong with this boy. By then I learned how to fool people, especially the doctor. I would just be on my best behavior while there. But in reality, I was actually fooling myself because that anger just kept getting worse in me, and my temper was uncontrollable. At the age of 12, I started getting high off weed, meth, drinking, which helped numbing the pain a little, but it only added gas to my fiery temper. By then, I started to hurt people because I was hurt, and I enjoyed it, and I was good at it. In intermediate, I started gangbanging, which I really enjoyed because now I had an even better reason to hurt others, for the simple reasons for wearing different colors or from being from different neighborhoods. By this time, I've been in and out of jail, juvenile detention centers, and boys' homes so much that I lost count. When I got older, I started going to prison, which also made me more protective of myself. I built this soldier mentality, attack before being attacked. And with that, I trusted no one. And I used my anger to put fear in others, which in return gave me a sense of control that I never had when I was a kid. It got so bad that my stepdad wouldn't be able to sleep when I was around because he thought I would do something to him. No one wanted me around because I became a monster. This is just some of the things that happened that made me build walls around me and my heart that kept others out. Now fast forward but God. But God sent someone into my life. God sent someone into my life that scared the crap out of me for the first time in my life. And I was really afraid of this guy, and I didn't know why. Later on, I found out that it was the love of God in this man that scared me.
Wow.
It was genuine love. He later shared the gospel of Jesus Christ with me, and I got saved. Now, since then, God has delivered me from drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, gangbanging, temper. But even though I've been saved since 2004, I still had a wall up that kept others out. And the enemy has been using it to keep me in the category of an ineffective Christian because I shunned relationships with other people. And that's what happened at this camp. The walls came crumbling down. The walls of Jericho fell, and God started showing me that I was surrounded by some good brothers. I love God. And I realized that these guys were sincere too. Now I love these guys and I enjoy being around them, every one of them. And I never thought this would be possible for me. And I give God all the glory for it.
Isn't that powerful what God can do in his life? What about you? What about you? Let's go home already. Let's go home and let's just feed off of that right there.